Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Juan's World, and today I'm going to make Turkish delight, and there's a couple of things that I'm going to be doing a little bit differently from the normal way. I've made Turkish delight quite often, and I usually use a traditional method, but today I'm going to use some agar, which is a vegetable gelatin as part of the thickening process. I've never done that before, but I thought I'd try it because I found this rose flavored agar in the supermarket the other day, and I thought, well, that would be perfect. So that's going to be my experiment, may or may not work. And here you can see the starting point where I've got my tray just about prepared. I've got some aluminium foil inside lining it, and I'm going to brush some oil on it before I put the finished Turkish delight in it, which will be a couple of hours from now. But let's get started. Now over here is the beginning part where I'm going to boil a mixture of water and sugar for about an hour, because I have to bring it up to 240 degrees centigrade. And the reason I'm making Turkish delight now is because for Christmas my sister, with a little bit of prompting, bought me a sugar thermometer, which I couldn't get anywhere in Cambodia. So she sent me this one from England. So now I have a sugar thermometer. I can check to make sure that the sugar and water mixture boils to 240 accurately, and that's going to be the starting process. So let's add the necessary ingredients and get started. Now my first task is going to be to bring the mixture, which is 4 cups of sugar and 1.5 cups of water and a splash of lemon juice. I'm going to bring it to the boil and make sure that the sugar and the water are all dissolved together, and then I'm going to bring it onto high heat and I'm going to cook until it reaches 240 degrees Celsius on the sugar thermometer. Alright, so here we are boiling away. Now I may have said Celsius earlier, but I really meant Fahrenheit, of course. The sugar has reached the boiling point of water, 212 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's going to take a good while for the mixture to get up to 240, which is up here, which is called the soft ball level, which you can use for a rudimentary way of finding the temperature by taking a piece out and dumping it in cold water, and when it makes a soft ball then it's ready. But I've got the thermometer, so that's going to do the trick, and it may take anywhere from 40 to 50 minutes to get to that temperature. So I'm just going to let it go. I'm not going to stir or anything like that. I'm just going to let it heat up, and when I get to around 230, I'm going to start the next part of the process. Now this is a mixture of 3 cups of water, 1 cup of cornstarch, and about 1/2 cup of the agar rose mixture, which I'm just boiling to make sure that everything is all nicely combined. And then I'm going to add it to the sugar, and I'm going to boil everything together for, it says an hour in the recipe that I've been using, but I think I'm probably going to do less than that because I'm using my induction heater, which does a terrific job. Although I may switch to the gas. I'm not sure, it depends how things work out. But anyway, this is step 2. So I've got the sugar mixture at 240 Fahrenheit. I've got this all dissolved. I'm going to combine the two together and then boil them together for about an hour. Alright, so here's the combination of the boiled sugar and the cornstarch and agar-agar mixture on a moderate simmer for about, I think, half an hour, probably not much longer. That my recipe says an hour, but I think that's too much. It says until it's thick and gluey. Well, it actually already is thick and gluey, but I'll leave it to just bubble away a little bit more. And then the next step will be to pour it into the prepared pan and then let it set up overnight. So you can see I've poured the mix into the mold, and it's very hot right now, so it's supposed to be left uncovered for 8 hours or more, and that should be fine. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning now, so by late this evening I'll check on it. It says uncovered. I'm a little worried about that because here in the tropics there's lots of flying bugs, Drosophila, mosquitoes, flies. They're all going to be very interested in the sugar, but I'll leave it uncovered and see what happens, and I'll return in about 8 hours. So here we have the Turkish Delight after actually about 12 hours. It took a little longer to set up than I had expected. It's still a little bit stickier than I might like, but it's okay. I've taken it out of the pan, and also a little bit thinner than I might have wanted. I think because the boiling process maybe reduced it a little bit more than I had expected. But anyway, the next step is to cut the this big pan full into small cubes and to roll them in icing sugar, and I'll show you that next. So in the end I found it actually a little bit easier to cut by just coating the top with a little bit of icing sugar, as you can see here, and then it cut fairly easily. This was slightly more don't know quite what the word is, slightly more gelatinous maybe than I'm used to, but certainly very tasty. And you can see over here I've got some pieces which I've cut and rolled in icing sugar, and it's quite delicious. You could also, if you're so inclined, add nuts, which is very common in Turkey. You can add different nuts like pistachios, for example, almonds slivered, and you can also, well, I've not seen this in Turkey, I've seen it in England, you can coat it in melted chocolate. All kinds of things you can do with it. And so all that I have left now is to ask you to tell your friends about my videos, to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on Friday with another ramble into the philosophical world.